Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin. You're listening to the Meditations and More podcast. That's me, the Little Shaman. And today I would like to talk to you about something I get asked about every once in a while. It's the difference between covert and overt narcissism. Now, if you haven't heard my show before, I'll just explain really fast what a narcissist is. There's a lot of other episodes you can listen to give you a better definition. I don't want to spend the entire time just talking about what a narcissist is because that could fill an hour. So what is a narcissist? Narcissists are basically people who are only focused on their own needs. They are unable and unwilling to care about or consider other people's feelings. They don't understand respect, integrity, or compromise. They want what they want when they want it, and anything or anyone that stands in their way is their enemy. The true narcissist is remorseless, selfish, sadistic, shallow, and I want to go ahead and say narcissists can be any age, gender, sexuality, or race. A lot of times when I'm doing the show or when I write articles, I use male pronouns just for the ease of talking and the ease of writing, but that should no way imply that narcissists cannot be women or that they can only be heterosexual. None of these things are true. Narcissists can be basically anybody. So what is an overt narcissist? Now, when we think of narcissists, we usually think of the stereotypical arrogant blowhards who believe they can do no wrong or that they're God's gift to humanity. That is the overt narcissist. He is overtly narcissistic. Overt means plainly seen or not hidden. This describes the overt narcissist exactly. He is arrogant, egotistical, not afraid to toot his own horn. In fact, not only is he not afraid to toot his own horn, he revels in it and insists that everyone else should do so as well. He may be sarcastic, sadistic, condescending, cruel, cold. This is not a sympathetic character. He will rage when challenged, and he insists that his needs be catered to immediately. Any and all individuality in a partner will be just brutally stomped out and replaced with his way of thinking. He's often a bully, a cheater. It's not uncommon for this type of narcissist to engage in physical abuse of his partners. He believes he's entitled to literally anything that he wants. This is that person who makes unbelievably ridiculous statements of entitlement with a perfectly straight face. I mean, he really means it. The selfishness is shocking. It's scary. This type of narcissist is often very smooth. He's a good talker. He seems to have everything very together in his life. A lot of times they're very successful people in their careers and things like that. This is the type of narcissist you see that runs companies, that is a cult leader. Now, this type of narcissist is very dangerous, but they're also very obvious. You know, it's really hard to mistake this type of personality. They do everything but shove it in your face. So overt narcissists often perfect a really smooth facade to attract partners or friends, but the facade generally crumbles pretty quickly because that huge poisonous ego demands acknowledgement, and it demands acknowledgement now. So because of that, they are in some ways easier to avoid than their counterpart, the covert narcissist, because the overt narcissist is very obvious. So what is a covert narcissist? The covert narcissist is the opposite of the overt narcissist. Covert means hidden or secret. This is a perfect definition for the covert narcissist. He does not appear to be a narcissist at all. Rather, he appears very insecure, helpless, needy. Where the overt narcissist appears supremely confident and independent, the covert narcissist presents himself as unsure and dependent. He's a very sympathetic, pitiable creature, and he works very hard to make sure he presents himself that way. The covert narcissist is a professional victim. He has had the hardest life, the roughest childhood, the most terrible relationships. His entire existence has just been one tragedy after another. No one has ever loved him. Everyone has always left him. He tries so hard, but it never works out. This type of narcissist clings to his partner with a desperation that is almost obsessive. And because of that, this type of narcissist is very dangerous because people don't recognize him as a narcissist. It's only after knowing him for a while that people begin to realize how selfish and self-absorbed this person really is. What we mistake for insecurity is actually selfishness. His needs come first, always. This is generally the type of narcissist that empaths become entangled with, because this type of narcissist broadcasts his neediness like a beacon, and it attracts people to want to help. He's like a predator feigning an injury in order to trick the prey into coming closer. This type of narcissist is still a predator, and in some ways he's worse than the overt narcissist, because the overt narcissist makes his victims believe they need him, but the covert narcissist makes his victims believe that he needs them. Where the overt narcissist uses bullying and fear to keep his victim in line, the covert narcissist uses sympathy and guilt. This is much harder for people to walk away from, especially because the covert narcissist appears so needy and unstable. So, what's the difference? Strictly speaking, there isn't really much of a difference between covert and overt narcissism. It's mostly a matter of degrees. The covert narcissist attempts to have his needs met differently than the overt narcissist, but his needs are basically the same and they have the same importance. The only importance as far as he's concerned. The covert narcissist might cry hysterically or threaten suicide instead of physically attacking his victim or threatening murder, as the overt narcissist would probably do. But they're both sides of the same coin. In this scenario, both people are saying the same thing. Someone's going to die if you don't give me what I want. In extreme emotional situations, both types of narcissists can engage in physical abuse, and both of them can become hysterical or threaten suicide. This is because both the covert and the overt narcissists are really only facades anyway. This facade can be cast aside if necessary to expose the wounded, screaming child underneath, and in both people this core is the same. How they choose to present themselves has more to do with what their original personality was like before they received the narcissistic wound that made them what they are, and with what they have learned works as a successful manipulation. The overt narcissist learned early on that bullying works better for him, probably because it's more natural for his original personality type. And the covert narcissist learned that guilt and sympathy work better for him, again, probably because that is the more natural state for him. It can also have to do with which personality disorder the narcissist is afflicted with. So we could then say that borderline personalities are more likely to be covert narcissists, whereas psychopaths are more likely to be overt narcissists. Both are still narcissists, they're just different types. This is actually complicated by the fact that most people with cluster B personality disorders have more than one, which will result in different types of behaviors coming out at different times. For example, if a person has borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and antisocial personality disorder, this person might show many signs of covert narcissism, but can also show signs of overt narcissism in certain situations. Like, he might cry or threaten suicide when upset, but if he feels insulted, he might respond with physical violence or death threats. Now, those type of behavior doesn't seem to go with the whole I'm helpless, I'm needy, I'm toxic waste, I'm scum, I'm a victim, type of mindset, but it happens because the core of every type of narcissism is a huge, poisonous, and defective ego. This ego demands acknowledgement, and it demands punishment when it's wronged. In that regard, there's no difference between these types of personalities at all. So I hope that sheds a little light on the subject for you, and that now you understand the difference between covert and overt narcissism. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast. That's me, the Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you, and have a wonderful day.